Alright, YouTube. Very special video here and a very huge announcement. I'm a huge fan of double deck layouts. I found out about them nearly a decade ago. Read a book on it by Tony Coster, I believe is the correct pronunciation. From All Railroader. And he's built one. Jim Hager's built one. I've studied articles on it for years. I've got his book. I've got John Armstrong's Track Plan for Realistic Operations. And basically up until now I thought I wasn't going to get to do a double deck for another 40 years because we didn't have the space downstairs. And then I was just staring one day and I thought, wait a minute, if I do this and make this wide, I might be able to. So a lot of measuring, a lot of drawing, a lot of checking, and I actually have the space. Now, it is going to be cramped. The sides are going to be a 12-inch, 16-inch wide shelf. The back will be 12-inch, and the aisles will be 15 inches around. So yes, I know that's small, but the nearest guy within their terrain layout is nearly 2 hours away from me. And there's only one person in this whole town who actually would like doing this somewhat. And he and I, we're both so busy we hardly get together to do this. So 99.99999% of the time, I'm going to be the only one down there. I'm going to be the only one running it, building it. So I can probably get away with it. Obviously, if I'm lucky enough to have in a larger space, like 12 feet wide, then I'm that lucky. I'll work with it. But total width, this is going to be 9.5. Probably more like 9. No. 9.5. The actual width, let's see, is 10.5 feet. But that part of the basement isn't framed in, so I got, you have to take off a foot for framing all the way around. So the actual dimensions comes out 9 by 12 foot, and then an extra 2 by 4 foot rectangular section for the helix to come out. So as you can see, well, okay, now you can see I've already marked up the lumber. Got the plan in hand, marked it out, and ironically, I'm only one board short of being able to build this. Just one board, that's it. It's so close yet so far. So yeah, but that's the lumber. I'm not going to show you the track plan because I used the back of the track plan as a sketch to figure out the frame, so the track plan's a mess. And part of the layout downstairs, a couple sections that join up against the helix are going to have to be kind of built to fit. There's a couple areas that are going to have to be a little custom built. Everything is still going to be modular, sectional, so we can get it out of the basement. We don't have a walkout. It's a narrow basement, so nothing can be over 4 feet wide, which I don't have to worry about anyways, but they can't be over 4 feet long either. So that, it's interesting, but there's a basic mock-up. So this just gives you an idea, of the construction. Here, let's do this. Pardon the mess. I'm out here on using Dad's workbench. He has his workbench, I had mine. But his has all the fancy tools on it. Anyways, what you're looking at, this is, 3D. Okay, just go over dimensions here real quick. 36.5 inches from the floor to bottom of our 1x frame there. And I specifically made that height so we can fit some storage under here, tubs, a 3-tier shelf, 2-tier shelf, something. Because I got all that space, might as well use it for storage. That is a 1x4, which, by the time the lumber, it's actually 3.25, 3.5 inches. So 6.5 inches of separation to this level. This is again a 1x3, and then 13 inches up to the top. This isn't frame. This is a piece of 1/2 inch ply. This level and this level are both covered in 1/2 inch ply. This is a staging level right here. This is the first scenic level. This is the second. So these two are the first deck. That's the second deck. Is pretty much how it works. I haven't really drawn it on here, but if you picture this, you have your frame of 1x. This is 4 feet. You have your cross piece going over, across. What we're going to do is we're going to take those cross pieces, we're going to put drawer slides on them, and add a stop board back here, and maybe another brace right here. It depends. We'll figure that out when we get to it. We can work on that later. But anyways, we're going to add door slides, and this whole section will just pull out. So here's what's like. I have 4x8 in the middle, and this is an extension. I'm not trashing the 4x8 by any means. But this is in the middle. This goes around it. So one of the sides, most of the sides will have staging and traverser tables. And that's why that's 6.5, because this whole thing just, the whole thing just pulls out like that. So one of the reasons why I'm doing that, well, the main reason is, it's much more fluidness than much you can do with staging tracks. You can run a lot more trains through a much smaller number of tracks because you can have someone back here swapping out cars. Granted, it's a little unprototypical operating position, but it saves you a whole lot of track space and a lot more trains. But it doesn't matter to me, but I mean, you really don't want to reach back 16 inches anyways. And it makes it easier. So those will slide out, and they'll just be joined by like cabinet latches or something. So I'll have like a whole 12-foot long, a whole 9-foot long section of these that you'll latch and gear, and they'll act as one unit, and they'll just come out as one unit. And that should be a whole train length. I mean, a whole train, locomotive, freight cars, and caboose. So that's what I'm doing with that. A couple things that does not show in here. Well, there we go. These are L brackets right there, right there. They have a molded in brace. What these are is these are L-shaped legs, like I have on my current layout. The only difference is, well, okay, first, this is the wall over here. This is where you'd stand. So if you're looking at the layout, you're looking that way. So this is the edge. Backdrops here. You're looking like this. So this is more of an angle, but halfway. So this is the front. This is the back. And what this is this is an L-shaped leg. Except one part stops right here, the other goes all the way up. The part that goes all the way up basically forms our spine, if you will. Because, again, this is supposed to be modular so we can get it out of the basement. And the reason I make modular is, if you know for sure this is scenery you want, why would you go, in my opinion, why would you go to kind of the goofiness building it to the wall studs, and then, oh, you have to move. I have to rip it off the wall studs. I have to rip up the scenery, but you're going to replace it with the exact same scenery. So, just save yourself some money. So this is all sectional, but the frame, as you can see, comes over, around. So this one stops here, the back one comes up. These are glued and nailed, or glued and screwed together. You have your L bracket, the frame bolts into the L's like it does on the 4x8 we currently have. I'm going to raise the legs on the 4x8 a couple inches. That's the main reason is so the top of the foam, top of the plywood will be even with this level right here, because it's this level that'll bolt to the existing 4x8. 4x8 won't have staging under it. It'd just be too much trouble to add it. You can, but it'd be a lot of work, be more work than it's worth it, so no sense in doing it. But this bolt's scary. You have your frame, you have your plywood comes out. Up here, this is supported by L brackets. Haven't quite decided yet where these are going to be on the inside and outside. I think I got to talk it over some more pops, but I think we're going to put them on the inside. And then the leg that's parallel to the front, we'll take a skill saw or something like that and cut out a notch. Just enough. So this frame can be bolted to that section, because remember, this is L-shaped. So right here, it's parallel to this side of the frame, so you just bolt in. And then to get the maximum thinness for this, because you're going to be looking in like this. You already have an inch, because you have to allow for lights. And then staying there too, because you got to allow for tortoises, turnout machines and all that. So this is actually going to be 1/2 inch ply. Oh, and 1/2 inch ply here. I'll just use L brackets to add risers. So you can basically think of this as open grid bench work. It's sectionalized and a lot more portable. Is basically, but this is plywood, and we have in our L bracket. Now the way I'm doing this is the plywood will be in sections. What I'll do is I'll screw the L bracket to the frame here, and then sink screws down through the plywood. And what they'll do is these holes will be like guide holes, and the screws coming down will be like guide pins. So, when I get the section done, I got all track wiring. I just set down, move it around, and then when I hear those pins click and it drops down, nestles right into place, then it's locked. It's not going anywhere. They ain't going to go back and bolt the sections together, so they're definitely not going anywhere. So it's 100% movable, it's modular. I can shift it if I ever need to. But once you get everything bolted together, it's still 100% as strong and rigid as frame or open grid or any of the others. So that's what we're planning for the bench work. I've already done line measuring downstairs. The width checks out. The track plan checks out. So this will fit. Okay? A couple sections we'll have to figure out, but it will fit. So I'm going to cut this off. And yeah, comment, rate, like. Hope everybody enjoys. And please, please, please let me know what you think. So everybody take care, and I'll see you next time.